Easy people, welcome back to my channel at Big Steve Mcfc. Sick of saying it. Sick of saying it. Typical City again. Leipzig 1-1. Listen, it's not the end of the world, But I think a lot of fans were frustrated coming home on the trains and on the cars and that and on the planes because we dominated the first half. When the draw was made, RB Leipzig, Champions League, you're thinking, perfect. You know what I mean? We know Leipzig are a good side. I think they've lost once in 21, so they're no mugs. But looking at our team to theirs, you know what I mean? We should be getting the result. We got over there. We flew out from Stansted, me and Daps and a friend of mine. Landed in Leipzig early. Went into the square. Big up Uwe Rosloff for recommending Spiz Bar in the market square. A lot of blues were there when we got there. Night before the match, we had a great time. The atmosphere was building. The flags was up. I don't know if you look at my Instagram story, but I try and keep everyone in the loop. The spirits were good. Nobody could see a problem for City. We was all saying it. We should come here and get a result, take it back to the Etihad, finish the job. The players were staying literally 50 metres from the bar where the City fans were singing. I spoke to a couple of guys in the hotel. They said a few of the City players were like, the fans were loud last night, you know what I mean? The night before, the City fans were singing till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Great spirits, man. Great spirits. Good away support on this one. Match day, obviously rumours were coming out like De Bruyne was injured. Things like that. Someone was saying Kyle Walker was injured. Obviously, we know he wasn't. There was a tram strike in Leipzig, so the only option was to walk to the stadium, which was fine. But trying to get a couple of thousand of Man City fans to walk at the same time when they've all had a load of ale, it's not happening. Trust me, it's not happening, But we did all right. Probably, I'd say 100, 150 of us broke away to walk to the stadium. Great spirits, singing. About a 35-minute walk. And then we got to we thought we got to the stadium, but it's the weirdest setup you've ever seen in your life. It looks like a prison from outside, barbed wire fences, big, massive buildings, watchtowers. It's weird. And then behind that, you can see this big, bright, lit stadium, which you can't get to. So the police are pushing you around the outside. We ended up walking probably about a mile away from the stadium in the wrong direction to come all the way around the back to go through a forest to get to the door to the stadium, to go up about 200 steps. And I don't know if anyone's seen Leipzig Stadium, but it looks like it's a brand new stadium built in a stadium, if you know what I mean. So I think they had the old stadium there and they've built a new one in the middle. Anyway, we got in there, standing section. And I've got to be honest, the atmosphere from the City end was absolutely top notch. I said to my mate, this is one of the best aways I've seen. Everyone was bouncing. Obviously, they're all topped up with Germany's finest ales, but, the atmosphere was good. The team selection comes out, Grealish, Mahrez, Haaland, Bernardo's in the middle with Rodri and Gundogan. We've got back four, Akanji, Diaz, Walker, Ake, Ederson. So for me, I'm thinking, great, brilliant. We look all right there, no problem. Game starts, and really confident. We were knocking it about really well. Leipzig were trying to press us in the middle, but we were knocking it around. Bernardo was dropping deep, laying it off nice and early. We were working the ball well. Grealish was having a great game on that side. The fullback, got done a few times. Riyad was coming inside. Kyle Walker was a bit frustrating for me, getting down the byline, and you think cross it, and then he's checking back, and then he's checking back again, or he does this fake dummy. I'm looking at Haaland in the middle. He was getting a bit frustrated there. And then we never looked troubled in the first half. There was nothing really. coming at us from Leipzig. They were just maintaining their positions and making sure we didn't dominate them, which is fine for me. Because in my opinion, Leipzig had to get something against us to bring back to the Etihad. Anyway, the goal comes just before half-time. I think Grealish played it through, and I think Gundo slipped in Riyadh with a great finish, 1-0. City ends up, you know what I mean? City's going down with $1 billion in the bank. All the songs were coming out. It was great. Half-time, 1-0. Talking to the lads around me, I was like, listen, we're not troubled here. We're not troubled. Just keep doing what we're doing. Keep knocking it about, and we'll be all right. But then the Nottingham Forest results in the back of your mind, innit? Where we played super well in the first half. We come out the second half, and it sort of ticked along late, and then bang, they got one. Well, more or less carbon copy, really. I think you've got to give credit to Leipzig. They changed their system a little bit. I think they pressed Rodri more. There were long periods in the second half where we couldn't get out of our own half. And then you've got the Haaland situation. Now, the big fella's getting frustrated. I've said it before on this channel, and I'll say it again. We don't put the ball into him enough. We broke in the second half. Jack Grealish in the middle. He found himself in the middle. He played the ball through to Haaland. Yeah? Haaland went one-on-one. He scuffed his shot with the right foot. But he's the only one intelligent enough to find that ball. He's Jack Grealish. And we're playing him wide left. And every time he gets the ball, he comes inside. Yeah? Gundogan, I think he sees the pass, but he's not quick enough to get it off. Rodri's never looking for that pass in a million years. He's never looking for it. It's always sideways or backwards with Rodri. He's not looking for that pass. Bernardo Silva doesn't know what day it is. Because 1 minute he's left back, then he's centre mid, then he's DM, then he's centre back. So Bernardo's head's just full of magic dust at the minute. So I'm not even relying on Bernardo to find that pass. So if you look at the midfield, there's nobody looking for a forward pass for Erling. And let me tell you, yeah, the amount of runs he made again off the ball was frightening. And then he started to get frustrated. He was screaming at Bernardo Silva off the ball to say, look for me. And if you're one of the best strikers in the world, you thrive on chances. You thrive on opportunities. He's not getting them. Now, Pep, if we can see it in the stands, you can see it, Don't be stubborn. Let's sort it out. It's all right tinkering with a back four, right? Tinker with the midfield, because the midfield is where the creativity is. Tinker with the midfield. Tinker with the wingers. We've got two wingers that don't cross the ball. They don't cross the ball, I don't understand it. If you've got a player like, I don't know, say we played Ferran Torres when he was here in the 9. I get coming inside because you can slip it into Ferran and your link-up play is great. With Haaland, it's different. He's not a false 9. He's a main man. He's a target man. Get the ball down, beat the fullback, get the ball in the box. I guarantee you score goals. Inter Milan the other night, I'm in the kebab shop. Big up Alibaba's Kebabs in Leipzig, the best kebabs in Leipzig. Again, I was in there and I seen their goal. Fullback got down the line, crossed it first time. Lukaku's headed it, I think, onto the post. It's come back out. He's blasted it in. That's an Erling Haaland goal. The amount of times Kyle Walker got down the right, and instead of whipping it first time, he cut back. It cuts back again. He passes it backwards. We're the only team that can get to the edge of the opponent's box, and then 5 seconds later, Edison's got it. It's just fucking frustrating as a fan to watch. And that's what happened second half. And then they scored a goal. Yeah. Kyle Walker heads it out for a corner. There's no one near him. I'm surprised that nobody shouted and told him. I don't know. But Kyle will have to tell you that. He heads it out for a corner. They play an early one in, a short one. He crosses it in. Guardiola gets up, bang, 1-1. For me, he gets up too easy. He's got his hands all over Ruben. So I don't know if they looked into that. Edison's in no man's land. We've let him back in again. So all the possession we've had first half, all the great play we've had means nothing. We've let him back in again. Manchester City are letting teams back in games now like no tomorrow. We do not look like we can finish a team off proper. Arsenal was the exception. We play well at Arsenal. But So frustrating. And then you're thinking, okay, we're getting overrun in midfield. Gundogan's legs aren't there. Bernardo looks a bit tired. It's not working. Let's bring Alvarez on. Bit of energy. You know, let's get Phil Foden on. Bit of something about him. Maybe put Calvin Phillips in the midfield. Bit of legs. Nope. Nothing. Nothing at all. Not even a change. Nothing. And then you're just thinking, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. You know, Pep's a genius and we love him at the club and we do. But sometimes he just needs to explain these things. Instead of coming out all mythical and saying, oh, the players played well, I don't care what anyone thinks, or next time I'll play 9 strikers and all that. It's all bollocks, that, Pep. We don't want to hear that, mate. You know what I mean? We're on the rattler back to fucking Berlin the next day, absolutely knackered because we've followed this team all over the country. Just come out and explain your decision and we'll accept it. You know what I mean? We're a good bunch. Do you know what I mean? We'll accept it. But it's frustrating, you know? We're far too inconsistent to win this league. I said it weeks ago. We're not consistent enough. It's 1 step forward, 3 steps back. 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. You can't win a league like that. There's other teams now getting into form, you know? They'll overtake us if we're not careful. So second half after that, Erling had the chance where he went through. You know, other than that, Ederson, you know, gets a lot of stick off people online. He saved our ass a few times, Ederson, with some great saves. So big up Ederson. But the game filters out. Last minute, handball in the box. Don't care what anyone says. It's a carve up. It's the blatantest handball you've ever seen. Guy pushes it away with his hand. Yeah? Don't even check it. Don't even check it. Now that tells you something, don't you? It's bent. It's bent because it's an handball. If that's happened against us, yeah, that's getting checked 10 times and that is happening as a pen. And I can't have any qualms about it. But nobody's mentioning it now. The BT studio lads just laughed it off. You know, Talk Sport didn't mention it. You know, they're too busy talking about the Europa League. And, yeah, so we're supposed to forget it? Well, I pay my hard-earned money with all them blues in that away end. And I'm not up for getting robbed. Do you know what I mean? I never moan about decisions, me. But that was just a joke. Where's the VAR to explain it? Explain that. Tell me how you can explain it. You're supposed to check it. It's a controversial decision. Check it. And then if you've checked it and you don't think it's handball, explain to me how that is not handball. So anyway, it's 1-1. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's not. Leipzig are a good side. I'd have took a 1-1 back to the Etihad, you know. I fancy us to finish them at the Etihad. I don't mind the Etihad. I think at home, we can beat anyone on our day. But the away form's suffering. It's stop-start. It's not good enough. The fact he's made no substitutes. We've got Bournemouth at weekend. That is another tricky game. And I know people might laugh and go, oh, Bournemouth, you'll do this, you'll do that. But away from home, tight, small ground, same as Forest. We don't seem to be getting results. So I don't know what he's planning. Don't know if he's planning to rest a few. Don't know if he's planning to play Alvarez. You know, for me, I'm ready for a 4-4-2 formation, me. I'm ready to get in a little and large combo up front. Erling Haaland, Alvarez strikers, 4 across the middle, 4 across the back to basics, getting the ball wide, zipping it in, getting it to the 2 front man and winning the fucking league. You know, I'm not up for 91% possession at Forest and getting a late goal. I'm not up for dominating the game at Leipzig and then second half can't get out of our own half. You know, that's not Man City. And he comes out and says, we haven't got the pace on transitions. There's only Erling and Walker's got the pace. Well, I'm sorry, you had the pace. We had Leroy Sané, we had Raheem Sterling, we had Gabriel Jesus, all players that could get back if we were under threat on a counter-attack. But now, we won't cross the ball in the box in case it gets headed out and they get us on a counter-attack. That's basically what he's saying. So, you've got the greatest striker in Europe stood in the middle and nobody will pass him the ball unless they're 4 foot away from him. They're trying to dink it into him when everyone's around him. I tell you what, the RB Leipzig centre-backs would have gone in there at half-time and gone, that was easy, that. Erling's on his own. He's running all over the place. Nobody's finding him, so just let him run. It is what it is. Haaland will look frustrated, shaking his head. Body language was bad. You know, we need to address it. We don't want a problem with Erling Haaland. You know, we bought him for a reason, to score goals. All of a sudden, the supply line dries up. Whereas for 3-4 years before that, we've been whizzing crosses into Sergio Aguero, who's 4 foot nothing. Loads of them. We used to whiz it in and go, why are we throwing crosses into a small guy? It's not happening. And then now we've got somebody in there to get on the end of it. We're not. So, you know, as you can tell by me, I'm frustrated. You know, I've been every game more or less this season. I'm watching it, and you're trying to back the team. You're trying to look at what we're doing, and it's not quite clicking. There's something not quite right. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. You know, I'm the most positive Man City fan out there, but I've got to be real. I don't want to be pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. In my opinion, at the minute, we're far too inconsistent to win anything. And teams are smelling a little bit of blood on us and thinking, we can give these a bloody nose here. They're not putting us to bed. Forest first half should be 3 or 4 up. Leipzig first half, it should be 2 up. Not happening. So we go into the Bournemouth game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. Bournemouth always is. Tight ground, you know, small pitch. We're going in there with a system we don't know what we're playing. People don't know where they're going to play. Is De Bruyne back? Is Bernardo at left back? Is Ake at centre back? Is Akanji playing? Is Laporte playing? You know, we don't know. We just don't know. I don't know what's going on. But it was frustrating, you know. And at the end of the game, we got a 1-1. We've got a result to take back to the Etihad. You know, I'm not talking about result. I think 1-1 before the game, I'd have took it, get back to the Etihad, finish the job. But we're just not playing well enough for the full game. We're not killing teams off. We're not playing at full pelt. And that's what's worrying for me. I saw Guardiola after the game on the coach. The coach stopped at the traffic lights and we were there. There's a few City fans singing to him, Pep, Pep and all that. Didn't even look interested. Had his head down, deep in thought. So I hope, that, well, we've been hoping this for the last probably 3 months, that he finds a solution to the problem. But I don't know. Earlier in the season, first pre-season game, Haaland's first goal, ball across the middle, bang, taps it in. How many goals did we score early in the season where we were whipping that ball in and Haaland's getting around the back and sliding it in? When's the last time that happened? Do you know? It's frustrating. And Big Earl's had a great season. I keep saying it. I'm not getting on at his case. The runs he's making are fantastic. But we just got to have someone with a vision in the middle to pick him out. Why not play Jack Grealish in the middle? Why not play Jack Grealish or Phil Foden in the middle? Jack Grealish is coming in from the right. He's running across the middle anyway. Why not have him central? Let Jack Grealish go left. Let Jack Grealish go right. Give him that free role. Why don't we make him the number 10? Make him a number 10 in there. Let him play. But they won't. They won't do it. Gundogan, he's been fantastic for us. But he's too safe. Every time he gets the ball, he's too safe. We need someone that's going to gamble. I'd take Gundogan out of the midfield and put Grealish in there. Play Foden on the left. Let Grealish take risks. Don't be too safe. Take a risk, Jack. Get the ball. Take a touch. Push it past the midfielder. Look for that through ball. That's what I would do. But I might be bald. But that's all that the similarities end with me and Pep. He's the gaffer. You know what I mean? I don't know your thoughts on it, Blues. Let me know what you think. You might think I'm talking shit, but I'm just looking from my side. I'd like to see him try something new in the midfield. I'd like to see Jack Grealish come in at that middle, go left, go right, put the energy in. You know, start creating, start shooting from long range, just doing something different. But, you know, it's mad. But anyway, it was a fantastic trip. Leipzig away. Beautiful city. Great trip. Big shout out to George, my mate George. He knows who he is. Always pissed. Always supporting the Blues. Always gets lost. Always loses his luggage. Always misses his hotel. Same again, mate. Keep it up, George, because you're a good one. And my big shout out to my mate Jake. You know who you are. And your other mate, who absolutely twisted the ears off me all the way to Leipzig. Talking absolute buckle for 30 minutes. So, Big Steve's sober. But I've got all these young lads around me talking nonsense for 30 minutes. But you know what? That's what it's about. I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Everyone's enjoying themselves. We had a fantastic time. There was no trouble. We got behind the boys from the first minute. And there's one thing that no one can criticise is the away support, because it was top notch again. Brilliant it was. You know what I mean? Class. And everyone I had a picture with, everyone that come over talking football and all that, I appreciate it. Big shout out to the Dutch boys who brought fireworks to the square. And let me tell you, the firework he brought to the square, if that firework had tipped over, we were all in big shit, mate, because the whole Leipzig centre was going up in flames. So big up the Dutch boys, they know who they are. And listen, if you haven't been on these Man City Euroways, get yourself on them. You meet the best people. And you know what? For years I've been going watching City in Europe. And the worst part of the trip is always the match. And it's mad. It's mad. But listen, we go again. Bournemouth. Let's do it. Let's get behind the boys. Let's go for it. Let's hope that the tide can turn and let's start putting this run together. Please, we need the run, man. We need the run. Followed by a Bristol, and then I think it's Newcastle, and then Palace. So we got a bit of a run, Blues. I think we'll be in a better shape in the next 3 or 4 weeks to know where we are in the title race and stuff. And all I can say is keep the faith, you know, keep the faith, up the Blues, and big up the main road losers. Please like, subscribe, drop a comment, and if you can share my videos in Man City Facebook groups and places like that, it helps me. I get more people onto my channel supporting me, and I'll keep doing this. So big up the Blues, big up the Bournemouth Blues. Let's roll into Bournemouth and get the 3 points. And yeah, Leipzig, it was emotional. Come on, City.